Hi, this is the Isha Wieder podcast. Today's episode is about the white wall rocket. Every year another plant is prolific and perfect in my garden, and this year it's the white wall rocket. It is as if the universe is giving me a hint about the next new video. So let's begin. Wall rocket does not look like the rocket that we can buy in the shops. The leaves seem larger and broader, and the flowers are also not the same. So I was curious what kind of species of plant this is, and I started my research. And this has turned out to be a fascinating journey, which I'm going to share with you now. First off, the smell of these flowers is divine. It smells like honey, a beautiful smell, and the bees love it. It's an amazing pollinator here in Spain. But this plant also occurs in other Mediterranean countries, such as Italy and Greece, Malta, even in the south of France and also North Africa. It comes out after the first rain, joining all the other herbs and plants that grow alongside with it, such as the calendula, the sow thistles, and the geraniums, just to name a few. The botanical name comes from Greek, and it's called Diplotaxis Erucoides, which refers to the way that the seeds are arranged within the seed pods in a double row. And I found a lovely picture online from a Maltese website that I will link below, where you can see the seeds and how they're arranged in a double row. In English, it's called white wall rocket because there is a yellow version as well, or false rocket or Mediterranean wasabi. The German name for this plant is Weiße Senfrauke. In ancient times, this plant was used as a food, and I found research that the plant was rediscovered at an Italian food market in 2003. But it's fair to say that this plant has gone out of fashion and we don't see it in the supermarkets. In fact, that is precisely the problem with supermarket food nowadays. They sell what I would call the same few species of anemic vegetables. These veg are overproduced with inferior agricultural methods, and they have lost nutrients through this process. As a result, if you want to eat well, you'll need to have access to properly grown foods or supplement your diet with wild edibles. Fast forward to 2021 and the white wall rocket appears in a study called 5 Undervalued Edible Species, and the report starts like this. Wild edible herbs have historically been used as local nutritional and medicinal sources. These plants grow spontaneously depending on the season. They adapt well to different edaphocclimatic conditions, this means soil conditions, generating a diversity constituent beneficial to health. So, not only is the plant edible, the white wall rocket is extremely healthy because it contains a lot of phytochemicals. This means plant chemicals which are good for us. Take flavonoids, for example. They are a group of chemicals occurring in fruit and vegetables, of which science has identified over 6,000 different species under the microscope. They have a lot of benefits, such as anti-cancer, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and a lot more. My take on science is that science is a way to explain what is already there in nature. This means nature creates what is there first, and then science lags behind to explain it. And I'm proven right, because in 2022, there was a study published that a new flavonoid was found in the white wall rocket, which was previously not known to science. So all our ancestors who ate this wild-growing vegetable must have been very lucky to get this flavonoid that we don't get today unless we eat this plant. And then obviously one is left thinking, what other phytochemicals have not yet been identified that we have been deprived of with the introduction of the supermarket food culture? I think it is a very good idea to get to know what edible plants grow around us and which plants can supplement our diet for health benefits. And that's the reason I make these plant videos, to empower you to learn more about those plants which can act as medicinal plants and which can feed you. I should add, for educational purposes here as a general disclaimer, please follow foraging guidelines before you start picking food from the environment. One of those guidelines is that you should not just eat anything that grows wild, because you will also encounter poisonous plants which are not edible. So before you start picking things from the environment, make sure that you have learned how to do it properly. This should go without saying, but I thought, since this is a YouTube video, I'll better add that. And in addition, pollen of this plant could bother somebody who has allergies to pollen. So the new flavonoid that has been found in the white wall rocket is called Diplotaxis Erucoides. Do you get the reference to its name? It reflects the botanical name of this plant, which is Diplotaxis Erucoides. Last night I made a lovely salad with this plant. I used olive oil, which is freshly here from the trees, lemon, and also from the trees, salt and pepper, and it was amazing. I also made the salad with balsamic vinegar, and that was also fabulous. There's a lovely pesto recipe, and you can add a dollop of pesto to anything you're making as a flavor decoration, or drop some pesto into a sauce. The recipe for the rocket pesto is easy. Blend some sunflower seeds in the blender and then add rocket, garlic, lemon, olive oil, salt and pepper and blend again. Voila, you have rocket pesto. You're welcome. There is a study which looks at the consumer readiness of using this vegetable, and the study suggests that the microgreens were well accepted, whereas the seedlings and baby leaves were mainly appreciated by individuals that enjoyed pungent food tastes. I find that a bit odd, because the reason I studied this plant in the first place is that although I knew it was rocket, the taste was mild and not pungent, so I just wanted to make doubly sure I researched it well. So to me, the pungent taste is absent, but then I'm somebody who loves pungent, and I think it is not even vaguely spicy. But it could also be that this plant is mature, it has flowers, so it could be that the spiciness has disappeared in favor of bitterness. But I'm also a fan of bitter, so I didn't particularly think it was anything other than fairly mild. There's a reason why wild plants are now being considered as a future food source. The reason is the continuous change in climate. Soil is getting drier and plants need to be hardier. But the cultivated plants we find in supermarkets don't have enough resilience to grow in drier climates, and that's the reason why wild plants are under review, as they still have their resilience. However, in my opinion, once grown with inferior agricultural methods, these plants will be made anemic again in no time. There are different methods of agriculture available as an alternative to the modern industrialized agriculture, which is practiced at the moment and which provides our same anemic foods in the supermarket. These alternative systems, for example, are organic, biodynamic, Vedic agriculture, permaculture, and so on. I'll make a separate video podcast about that, but just to mention it, as you were probably wondering at this point, what we're doing wrong with modern agriculture and what else can be done. So if you are one of those lucky people to have this plant growing in your garden wild, don't hesitate to use it for food, because it will be beneficial and add health benefits to your diet. It's also very prolific in vineyards in France, for example. You may think it is a weed. In fact, many nutritious plants and medicinal plants are considered weeds because of a lack of traditional knowledge. My neighbor has just recently plowed his field so that it looks clean. He has plowed all the lovely rocket under. That's what people think around here. If you plow, you are a responsible landowner and you make things look good by plowing. I once traveled with my friend from Italy, and she was appalled when she saw land that wasn't plowed. She thought it was negligent and sloppy. The problem with plowing is even greater than just wasting food for humans and for bees. Plowing releases CO2 into the atmosphere instead of absorbing it. It kills the microorganisms in the soil because they are exposed to the sun and die. But microorganisms are really important for making foods nutrient dense and resilient. The topsoil is the bit that is really beneficial, and we want it as thick as possible. Ukraine is said to have meters and meters of topsoil, but as a result of plowing, drying out or desertification, the soil gets rock hard round here, and when it rains it cannot absorb the rain, and that causes floods, whilst the earth is drying out at the same time. All the lovely rainwater runs away and it doesn't benefit the soil whatsoever. It has no time to seep into the ground to fill the aquifers again where we get our water from. So here's my top tip for today. To save the earth and to save your health, use wild rocket as a free food source which is highly nutritious, and do not plow it in. Have a lovely day, everyone. Follow and share this channel for more nature wisdom. Thank you.